Hello, baseball fans. Welcome back to another exciting, fantastic, wonderful episode of Innings Insights. I am Brayden, and joining me is the wonderful Chris Blanco. Today we're diving headfirst right down into the National League East Division. Yesterday we did the AL West. Not very exciting towards the back end of that league there with the A's and the Angels. But last year in the NL East, we had a lot of surprises, a lot of disappointments, if you're a Mets fan, and drama.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Brendan. It is a crazy, crazy division. I mean, some may say it's the best division with the top two. I know that at the bottom it gets a little dicey, but those top two teams with the Braves and the Phillies, fun times watching them go back and forth all season.
Yes,
no shortage of excitement.
And before we move on any further, we do have some breaking news in the baseball world. As we were talking about a few episodes ago when we were talking about the NL Central, as well as the AL Central, AL East, Garrett Cole's hurt. We expected the White Sox to move Dylan Cease to the Yankees. We were wrong. We just got blindsided. We got taken out by a 300-pound defensive lineman. Dylan Cease has been traded to the San Diego Padres. That is pretty much all we know now. This news literally just broke.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Ago. It's weird. I don't really understand it. Jeff Passan with another passing bomb.
I didn't think that the Padres were really doing anything. Like, why would they trade for him if they got rid of Soto?
Yeah, I have.
And they haven't re-signed Snell.
Idea. That news came from Jeff Passan, and according to Padres writer Dennis Lin, this move is for multiple notable prospects. We'll be going back to Chicago for Dylan Cease, and yeah, it's kind of a surprising move, really, because we didn't see the Padres being too competitive this year. We're going to get into that in a future episode. But yeah, just some wild, crazy baseball breaking news. That is baseball for you, if I've ever seen it.
I'll take it. I want the stove to be hot at all times. So give me trades.
Yep.
I'm fine with it.
Yes.
I just would rather them be coming to the Giants instead of a Giants rival. But it's fine.
Sure. Hey, you know what? The offseason this year especially has been so boring. So we're getting
so boring.
We're getting something. But continuing on, let's start with the reigning National League East champion Atlanta Braves, who finished last year 104-58. Absolutely phenomenal year. This was the best record in the MLB. They clinched the number one seed in the National League. This offseason, they added Chris Sale, who we talked about in the inaugural episode of the podcast. Kind of a piece to bolster that rotation. You look at this roster, just up and down. Beautiful. I don't see a weakness, with the exception of maybe shortstop. Orlando Arcia, not the strongest. Last year, their postseason woes continued. Back-to-back years, losing in the division round. They lost to the rival Phillies in 4 games this year. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you think about the roster? Can they maintain their dominance, and will they win the division again this year?
I think it's similar to what I said about the A's in our last episode, where there's just not much to say because they're so good. Like, you just know what you're getting from them already. And they have probably the best roster in all of baseball, top to bottom. You know everybody. You know all of those names. They added Chris Sale, and I know he's getting older, but he's looked good so far in spring.
Definitely.
And then Spencer Strider just keeps getting better. I think he's probably destined to have a 300 strikeout season with the way he pitches, adding a curveball to his repertoire. I mean,
disgusting.
This lineup is crazy, and this rotation is crazy.
Yeah, let's talk about that rotation. Max Fried at the top. Maybe Max Fried, Spencer Strider might get the opening day start.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Charlie Morton is there. He's kind of older.
Forgot about him.
Very, very consistent, and he's consistently good, too. He's not, like, average. He's, like, good.
Yeah.
Chris Sale, who we talked about, they brought in.
Chris Sale as your 4 is crazy.
If you told me that back in 2015, I'd tell you you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Elder as well, Reynaldo Lopez, and the bullpen too. My goodness, Raisel Iglesias, AJ Minter, Joe Jimenez, who was very good on the Tigers a few years ago, if you recall.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tyler Matzik with a nasty fastball that's more really of a rising fastball. Aaron
I
Palmer,
love this team.
former Giant Pierce Johnson,
Wow.
Angel Perdomo, and then the lineup. The best catcher, arguably the best catcher in baseball, Sean Murphy.
People might
Arguably
argue with that.
the best first baseman in baseball, Matt Olson.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably the best second baseman, who, I can see he's a little overrated, but he's very good, Ozzie Albies. Arguably the best third baseman in baseball, and Austin Riley. I mean, everybody on this team is arguably the best.
The best right fielder in baseball.
Ronald Acuna Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Ozuna from the Braves. Very good at hitting the baseball. He can't play defense.
Their center fielder,
Michael Harris the
second. That's it.
Very good.
This team's so good.
And they added Jared Kelnick as well.
Forgot about that.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So he started to have a good year in Seattle. Got hurt, and they moved on from him. And hey, maybe what he needed was a change of scenery. He couldn't seem to get it going in Seattle, so maybe this change of scenery will be good for Kelnick.
I think so. I think he definitely needed it because he needed to heat up. He's got all the potential in the world. So let's just see it happen. And if any team can do it, it's the Braves.
Definitely. And you know what? Like you said, I mean, there's really nothing to talk about. This team is going to go out. I think they're going to win the division again because there's
100%.
There's no holes in this team except for maybe Orlando Arcia, and he didn't even
shortstop
really have that bad of a year last year.
No, he didn't at all. What was his
last year? He hit
OPS plus 98.
He was an all-star last year, so again, there's really no holes with the exception of Arcia, and he's not bad. He was an all-star, so
yeah, exactly.
So good.
On this team, Orlando Arcia seems like the bad player, and I think I would take him over anybody on the Giants.
Yeah.
So, whatever that means. You're right. Not much to say about this team. They're incredible. They're going to keep doing it. I have no reason to believe they're going backwards. So, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I do have the over-under for this team.
I have more breaking news.
Oh?
Not really breaking. That's going to make you and I unhappy. There were two other teams that were heavily in on Dylan Cease. The Texas Rangers.
Interesting.
And the San Francisco Giants.
Of course. They're in on everybody.
This is according to John Heyman. So.
Not a reliable source.
Not really reliable, but that's according to him. The Giants and Rangers were in heavily on Dylan Cease. None of them got him. I am not surprised the Giants did because we never get anybody. So
they don't get anybody. But they're always in. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
At least we're always in on it.
Yes. Isn't that exciting? So last year, let's go over the over-under. Last year, Braves were 104-58.
Okay. And what do you think the over-under is?
I'm going to go
DraftKings?
102.5.
101.5.
Okay. All right. Fair. 101.5. So the half, I'm going to take the under.
What?
Okay, hear me out. By one game. I think they go 101-61. But we'll get into that later.
I mean, I know it's hard to say. I know it's hard to say that a team is over a 101.5 over-under, but I'm taking the over. This team is so good. I think they got better with the addition of Kelnick with Sale. Strider is going to keep getting better with that new curveball he has. Yeah. So good.
I don't blame you at all. I don't. But
thank you.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Yes, we will.
Who
you got next?
Beat them last year was the Philadelphia Phillies. The division rival, the fourth place Phillies, as they were formerly known. They have completely done a 180. They are very good. They have been very good the last couple of years. They just finished behind the Braves in the division standings, like I said, but they beat them in the playoffs. They locked up Zach Wheeler this offseason, a 3-year deal. They brought in Whit Merrifield in the offseason. They brought in Spencer Turnbull as well to add to that rotation. They didn't really get better, per se, because, Whit Merrifield hasn't been all that great the last 2 years. Spencer Turnbull, who, I mean, you and I know who he is, but to the common fan, they hear the name, they don't know who that is. Did
he throw a no-hitter?
He did. He did.
Yeah. Okay.
They didn't get worse, but I don't think they got better either. What are your thoughts on their performance last season? How do you think they're going to do this year? And can they? We know they can't, or we think we know they can't, but could they compete for a division this year?
I don't think they can compete for the division. I think that the Braves just run away with it. But I do love these Phillies. I think they might be one of my favorite teams to watch. Their fans are insane, and I mean that in the best way. I love this team.
Crazy.
I mean, you've got Zach Wheeler, who you said is at the top of the rotation. Really sad to see how good he is, being a Giants fan, and that was one of the worst trades of all time, getting rid of him. Because clearly he's done something right. But good for him. And then obviously you've got Bryce Harper, who's, again, one of my favorite players. So this team, like the Braves, doesn't seem to have many holes. They're just not as good at each position.
And another terrible trade, unrelated, that the Giants made back in 2014 for Casey McGee. Do you know who we traded Casey McGee?
Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo. Absolutely.
I know. Horrible.
Stupid.
Casey McGee.
Stupid.
Oh. Okay, what do you think about this lineup?
I like the lineup. It's a good lineup. I kind of like the pitching a little better than the lineup, to be honest with you. Really, Bryce Harper, very good, obviously. Alec Boehm, decent. Trey Turner had a down year last year.
Yeah, I think he'll bounce back.
But I think he will definitely bounce back. He had a great WBC.
Oh, so good.
He was Captain America for a while there. Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber, just all he does is hit home runs and strike out.
Exactly.
That's
Bryson
really
Stott had a good showing. Real Muto
well.
is on the decline, but he's still one of the best catchers in baseball.
I completely agree.
Is it Brandon Marsh out in center?
It is. He should shave a little bit. But this rotation, I think, is very good. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, Taijuan Walker had a solid year last year. Kobe Allard is there as well. They added Spencer Turnbull, like I said. The bullpen is good too. Gregory Soto, Jose Alvarado,
an incredible.
Dominguez, Matt
Those
Strom.
three.
My goodness.
I mean, you've got 102 miles per hour, just a bowling ball coming at you from the left side with Alvarado. Yes. Soto does the same thing too, can throw just as hard from the left side. And then Dominguez on the right side. This team, that bullpen's fantastic, and I love everything about this team. Like I said, I think they're just as good. They have a great team. It's just not as good as the Braves. But obviously, we've seen the past the past 2 seasons that this team can beat the Braves when they go head to head.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep. Definitely. And
I think we need to show that the lesser teams that seem like they aren't as good can beat their big brothers when it counts the most.
When it matters most. Exactly what I was just about to say. In the postseason, when it matters most, when the lights are brightest. The Phillies came up World Series team in 2022. Almost beat the Astros.
That was so good.
It was good. But we'll see how they do. I agree. I don't think they're going to win the division. It seems like they're fighting for second place with the Mets. We'll see. Last year, 90 and 72, like I said, I'm going to guess the over-under is 88.5.
For the Phillies? That's what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about.
It is 90.5.
Okay. I'm going to take the under 90.5 games.
Under. So, I mean, that was the same as they were last year. Did they get better? I don't really think they have many additions.
I don't think they got better, but again, I also don't think they got worse on paper. But
Hmm.
people regress year after year. I think Trey Turner will bounce back. Bryce
I
Harper had a
agree.
good year, but he's not getting any younger. Bryson Stott
Here's
is good. Alec Boehm hasn't been great. Brandon Marsh is kind of just there, really.
great defender.
Very good defender.
My thought process here is that the Nationals have stayed the same. I think the Marlins have gotten better. Uh, I think the Mets have gotten worse.
Really, the Mets got worse.
In my opinion, yes. So I don't know exactly what we're going to see, but I think I'm going to take, what did I say it was? 90 and a half. I'm going to take the over, but slightly, like by one game.
Okay, fair. Very fair. Let's talk about the Marlins now, who you think got better.
Oh,
Interesting.
you think the Marlins? Okay. Yeah, I do think the Marlins, I do think they got better. And
Marlins.
do you want me to explain why?
I mean, we can get into that in just a second. Marlins finished in third place last year. Just made the playoffs. Just squeezed into the postseason. Um, 84 and 78 last season.
Hmm.
They fell short. Also fell short to the Phillies, the second team in this division to lose to the Phillies in the playoffs. They still exceeded everybody's expectations, including mine. We know that this rotation is just beautiful. However, they will be without Alcantara. That is the strength of the team is the pitching. They added Josh Bell last year. They picked up Tim Anderson in the offseason. What's in store for them this year? Let's hear why you think they got better.
So obviously, I know losing Alcantara is a big hit. Former Cy Young Award winner, but they're going to get hopefully a full season of Yuri Perez. You're going to get Lazaro back if he doesn't get traded. He probably will be traded
I think he'll
um,
get traded.
at some point, whether it's now or mid-season. I think he gets traded. You have Braxton Garrett, great pitcher. You're going to get a full season from one of my favorite players to watch, Jake Berger. Just hits bombs. He was traded over there from the White Sox halfway through the season, so they're going to get a full season out of him.
Very good.
Luis Arias can't hit 360 or whatever it was last year again, I don't think. But he's still there. And then Tim Anderson, there's no way he can be as bad as he was last year. So just
Incredibly
doing
bad last year.
something for this team, I think he improves the team. And then Jazz Chisholm, I know he's had an issue with staying healthy, but if he does actually stay healthy, I think he could put together a solid season.
Last year, Tim Anderson had a -2 WAR. He
Which is
hit
crazy.
245. He hit one home run. He had an OPS plus of 60.
How many games?
123 games.
That's crazy. One home run.
Yep. And then Jazz Chisholm last year hit 250, 19 home runs. He had an OPS plus of 103, so just above league average. Not too bad. Definitely did not deserve to be on the cover of MLB The Show, but I digress.
And just to bring up a little bit more about my guy, Jake Berger. Last year, in 492 at-bats, he had 34 home runs, 80 RBIs, bat 250, OPS plus of 120. 34 home runs is nothing to joke about. I know he is going from a smaller ballpark over into Miami, which is a huge ballpark.
Very big.
But this guy's got plenty of power to overcome that big ballpark.
Completely agree. Completely agree with you.
And then obviously you've got Yuri Perez, who, by the way, is 20 years old, and he's
So
already pitched 91 innings in the show.
So
I know he declined a little bit when he came back after being sent down.
which I didn't agree
But-
with. He was on my fantasy team, and I thought that was
I know.
because he was having such a good year. But I
They got to limit his pitch count.
I kind of understand why they did it. Keep him healthy.
So in 91 and a third innings, he had an ERA plus of 142. Although he did have a FIP of 4.11, so it sounds like he got a little lucky in some cases because his ERA was only 3.15. But I'll take what we can get. Great strikeout guy. He's, what is he, 6'8" and like 160 pounds or something?
K per nine of 10.6.
Yep. I mean, he looks like Sandy Alcantara. He looks like he's going to be everything that Sandy is with better strikeout numbers. And I love it. I want to see more of him.
Everybody in this starting rotation is just so good. Alcantara, when he's healthy, if he's there, he won't be there next year. But when he's there, lights out. Jesus Luzardo put it together last year. Very good. Braxton Garrett, young, very good. Huey Perez, like we just talked about, young and very good. Same thing with Eduardo Cabrera, young and very good. Trevor Rogers.
You know who else is still out there looming? And I don't know where he really has been, but Sixto Sanchez. Huge name back in the day.
Huge name and a huge guy. He ate a lot.
He is a big boy.
This offseason.
Yeah, he's a big guy. But he was a huge name, and all of a sudden, where has he even gone? There's just no room for him with all these players that they have.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks. He is on the 40-man roster,
Okay.
but not on the current depth chart for the Marlins.
Yeah, he hasn't pitched since 2020.
Looking to make a comeback. Don't know if he can do it.
He's only 25 years old.
Yeah, young guy. That might be a piece that they trade rather than Luzardo. We'll see though. So, with this team, you think they got better. Where do you see them finishing this upcoming season?
I think this is
Are they
a third place
in
team.
the fight with? Okay, are they fighting for second place?
I would love to say that they are, but no, I don't see it. I think that the Phillies are too good. Obviously, the Braves are in the league of their own. So I think if they can just add a couple more pieces, get some extra pieces that they still need. Bullpen, I think that they could really use some help in the bullpen aside from their closer. Forgetting his name, but he's fantastic. Aside from that, I think that they can start to fight. They're not going to actually get second place.
Tanner Scott.
Yes. They're not going to get second place. They will be a third place team, but they have nothing but upward momentum right now, in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. For me, I just don't think that they did anything important this offseason. They didn't really get anybody. I don't think they got better. The rotation got worse because Alcantara's gone, but they're very young and very good. So, I'm hoping that they do good, but I'm not too optimistic about it. Last year, 84 and 78, like I said. Over under, I'm going to guess 81 and a half.
78 and a half.
Okay. 78 and a half. Go ahead. We'll let you go first.
I hate to say it again, but I'm taking the over 3 straight teams.
Jeez.
It's not going to be much over, but, I mean, this team is better than 500. At least 500. So you're giving me at least 81 wins from this team.
Okay. Well, jeez. This is hard. I told you before we started the episode that this division was extremely difficult. Because I'm looking at this pitching now, and they're just so good. I do worry about the bullpen, though. A little bit. Not really the back end, but more of the guys that come in, 5th, 6th inning. The rotation's good. They're young. But are they too young? I don't know. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to stick with what
taking the under.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
I think they regress this year. But maybe 2025 when Alcantara comes back, they'll be better. But we can talk about that when we get there. But right now, I hate to say it, I'm going to take the under.
That's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, Marlins fans.
But you know who's just been sad? And I feel bad for them. And that would be the Mets. And obviously, it's just a Mets thing that they just implode. Sorry, Mets fans, but you Mets.
It is what it is. Last year was
Hmm.
a incredibly historic, disappointing season. The Mets and Padres are the two teams that we think of that were supposed to be very good playoff teams, and both didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They finished last year with a 75-87 record. They have Pete Alonso, Brett Beatty, Kodai Senga, who's starting the year hurt, Francisco Lindor, just to name a few. This offseason, they brought in Sean Manaea and Harrison Bader. What went wrong for them last year?
That is a good question. I cannot figure it out. Obviously, their starting pitching was a little bit roughed up in the beginning.
Yep.
Scherzer and Verlander both kind of started out not so hot. Verlander, one of them started off hurt.
Yes,
To
I think
begin the
it was. I believe it was Verlander.
I don't remember now,
Yeah,
but
quote me on it.
whoever it was, they were both traded away because they may have been a big reason why this team wasn't doing so well. And then obviously you have things like Pete Alonso, who batted 217 for the season. Yes, he still has this crazy power, 46 home runs, but 217 is not going to do it. And like Jeff McNeil had a very down year. Nimmo was fine, but I feel like this team is really kind of falling apart. And then obviously they didn't have their closer, the number one closer in baseball,
Yep.
Edwin Diaz, who is back now. So hopefully that makes a difference.
I believe it will. I really do. And last year, yes, Pete Alonso hit 217. He was an all-star. He finished 17th in MVP voting. He hit 46 home runs. He had an OPS plus of 122. So obviously, you'd like to see him get that average up, but he was still putting up big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
He was still producing. He had a WAR of 3.2. That ain't bad.
That's not bad at all. I'll take that.
Jeff McNeil didn't have that great of a year, though. Hit 270. OPS plus below average at 96. I like the Mets. I like their chances this year.
You
I do.
really? You think that they can fight for second?
I really do. I think that this team's going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's going to, last year was a fluke year. I'm hoping, based on if I'm a bet man, I'm considering last year to be a fluke year. They got Starling Marte coming back. Harrison Bader is in there, great on defense. He's quick. If he gets on base, he's going to steal, 20 bases a year, 30 bases.
Yep.
Brandon Nimmo's very good. Pete Alonso,
Fast runner.
like we just talked about, has the power. You'd like to see him get the average up. I think he can. I think he'll have
think so.
a better year. Jeff McNeil, same. He's going to have a better year. Don't worry, Mets fans. Brett Beatty, too. We forgot about Brett Beatty.
He's young. He's easily forgettable for right now since he hasn't really shown much.
Yeah.
Did not do very much yesterday. Not yesterday, last year.
Yeah, he hit 212 last year. He didn't have a good year.
Yeah.
But he's going into his 24-year-old season. I expect him to turn it around completely.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Francisco Alvarez, who was the best catching prospect in baseball.
Yeah, what did he hit? 24 home runs or something?
He had a very good year. I don't know if it was 24. I can definitely check.
25.
Wow. See, I told you it wasn't 24.
25 home runs from the catching position for someone who's in their rookie year.
Yeah. And he's 20. He was 21 last year. He'll be 22 this year.
That's great. Batting average of 209. Again, as a catcher, so you're not looking for incredible offense. But I think that is what he's known for, is more of an offense than a defense guy.
Correct.
So let's get it going.
Yeah, and this rotation, Kodai Senga, who will start the year hurt.
Poor guy.
We just heard, I think it was yesterday, Jose Quintana is the opening day starter for the Mets. Luis Severino is another guy they brought in.
I forgot about that.
They have Mr. Puke himself, Adrian Hauser.
Oh, they got Puke.
Yeah, Joey Lucchese's there. Tyler McGill. When you look at this rotation, it doesn't look too bad. I think they're going to be just fine. Maybe The bullpen, obviously, not terrible. I'm not even going to try to say his name. The guy they picked up from, I think it was Japan. The closer? I don't know.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Shintaro Fujinami.
Oh, Shintaro Fujinami. He throws gas.
Yeah.
Didn't they get him from? They didn't trade for him, but he was on the Orioles last year, right?
I think so. And the A's.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, he throws hard.
Jake Diekman is there now, too. Adam Ottavino coming at you with that nasty slider. And Edwin Diaz will be back. So they are going to be just fine. Nothing to worry about. Carlos Mendoza is their new manager as well. John Gibbons.
I don't know much about him.
The bench coach. I don't
Remember
know
Gibbons?
Yeah, former Blue Jay manager.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about this team. I think that they're going to be competitive to an extent, but just not my favorite team in baseball right now. Sorry, Mets fans. I do love New York.
That's fair. We went there last year for opening day.
We did. To New York, not to Citi Field.
Not to Citi Field. Yes, to the Bronx. We were in
The Bronx.
I was scared for my life at times.
It was fun, though.
All right. Last year, 75 and 87 for the Mets. Let's hear
Okay.
that over-under.
Do you have a guess?
I'm going to go 83 and a half.
Ooh, 81 and a half.
Okay. I am going to take the over on this team.
Okay.
I'm going to take the over.
Okay. Oh, goodness. They can't be worse than they were last year. They've got someone closing out games back there now. I'm taking the over as well.
Over on every team for you so far.
Uh-huh. I'm taking the over. It's not going to be much higher than it is now, but I do think that they're better than a 500 team.
I completely agree. This is a good team.
Perfect.
This is a very good team.
It's a good team. It's a good team.
Let's go to a
and then the last one, I was just going to say, did not get team.
Yeah, the Washington Nationals.
They're
been a
back.
Challenging last few years. They've kind of showed signs of improvement, though. They ended the 2022 season with a record of 55 and 107, and last year they went out and they won 71 games. So that's a pretty big difference.
That surprises me. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're headed in the right direction, but they're still rebuilding after that World Series win back in 2019. Pitching has been the weakness, as it has been for most teams that we break down and notice that they're not good. The pitching. Patrick Corbin has been absolutely garbage in the last couple years. He's been awful, and he's getting paid a lot of money to suck. They added Joey Gallo this offseason. What can we expect from them this year as they continue to rebuild?
I think we can expect more of the same, but they are obviously moving in the right direction. 71 wins is nothing to scoff at for a team that doesn't really have anybody notable on their team. I'm very surprised in a positive way that they had 71 wins last year. And I think that they can continue moving forward. I think as these young guys that they have continue to progress, they're going to get better. You've got C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, Josiah Gray, people like that.
Hunter Harvey as well.
Hunter Harvey.
Gabriel Ruiz. Joey
Ruiz. Meneses, love him. All he does is hit.
Nick Senzel.
Who's the guy was it Robles? Is he still out there in center?
Victor Robles.
Victor Robles?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
he's still there. Lane Thomas, my guy.
Lane Thomas knows how to hit the ball.
He does. And Carter Kieboom was supposed to be...
Yeah, where is he? Is he still on this team?
Yeah, he's still there. He was a highly touted prospect a few years ago, and he just hasn't been able to put it together.
Yeah, I did not hear his name last year at all.
He came up late in 2019. In his career, in about 133 games, he has a career batting average of 199, career OPS of 65. He's hit 12 total home runs, and a career OPS plus of 65, like I said.
To be fair, this is almost a full season for his whole career, 133 games. He
Yeah.
hasn't given that many opportunities,
No, small
but
sample size for sure.
numbers are not great. Not where you want to see them.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And he was supposed to be a big part of the team's, future success in the rebuild. They went out and they traded Juan Soto to the Padres. They got back C.J. Abrams, who is also supposed to be a big part of this team. Why don't you talk
And
to
he
us
will
about
be.
him?
Yeah, I can definitely. I mean, this guy has all of the speed in the world. 47 bags last year. Batting average could be better, 245, but that'll come with age, I think. Better eye at the plate. 18 home runs, nothing to scoff at, and that's better than most of the Giants team.
Yeah.
And the only thing that really scares me, which is really bringing down his OPS and OPS plus, is his on-base percentage. On base of 300, the guy does not walk. He had 118 strikeouts last year to only 32 walks. So I think that's just going to come with age and experience, just watching the ball, trying not to swing as much.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think he's fantastic over a shortstop.
Yeah, I think he's going to be something real big as they continue to rebuild, as the future, becomes brighter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I want this guy to get 60 swipes.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Who
I know.
doesn't love people that steal bases? The Giants don't steal
I
bases.
love stealing.
Yeah, we don't
I think it was Gabe Kapler that didn't like to steal bases. I think that if we see our new manager,
Robert?
correct.
Yep, very good. Patrick Corbin.
Let's see.
Highlights this rotation. Josiah Gray is going to be good. Mackenzie Gore. I'm very high on Mackenzie Gore, so we'll see
Big
how
lefty.
it goes. They finished with 71 wins last year. I'm going to say the over/under is 71.5.
Let's take a look at the Washington Nationals.
Not great.
Ooh, over under 66.5.
66.5. Okay. Go ahead. We'll let you go first.
I'm gonna say it. It's a sweep. I'm taking the over.
Wow. Overage sweep.
I took the over on all of them.
You did. All right. Well,
Yeah, I mean, they won 71 last year. I don't think they got worse. And I think these young guys have another year under their belt to get better. So they're not going to be losing 4 more games or 5 more games.
no, that's very fair. That's a very fair point.
Mhm.
What was the over/under again?
66.5.
Okay. Okay,
Do
I'm gonna go over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go over, but not by much.
That was expected.
Is this the first team I went over? I believe. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But we're gonna go back and forth now with our predictions here. We're gonna name, as we've done in previous episodes, we're gonna give what we think their record will be, the MVP of the team, and the Cy Young. Today, since you went first last time, I will go first. I'm gonna start
Please.
with my last place team. In 5th place, I have the Washington Nationals finishing 68-94.
Ooh, okay. I also have the Washington Nationals, obviously. I have them at 72 wins.
Okay,
72. So just better than they were last year. I don't think they went backwards.
solid, fair point.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the MVP of this team, I'm gonna go with Joey Meneses, and for the Cy Young, I will take Mackenzie Gore.
2 great picks. I've got C.J. Abrams
Okay.
running all over the base paths.
Yeah.
And since you took Gore, I will take Josiah Gray
Okay.
for Cy Young.
Fair point. Fair, very fair.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why don't you give us your 4th place team now? I think we agree here, potentially.
4th place, Metropolitans.
Okay, we don't agree.
Sorry about that. 4th place, Mets. I obviously I said that I'm taking the over on them. I think that they are decently good. Over under 81.5. I've got them at 83 wins. Just over 500. I think they're better than they were last year, but not by much.
Okay. In fourth place, I'm going to take the Miami Marlins at 74 and 88. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't think they got better. I think they got worse. They're without Alcantara. The bullpen kind of scares me. A lot of young guys.
It's fair. It's
not
fair.
very much veteran leadership, but we'll see how it goes.
It's fair. So let's see. For the Mets, MVP easily Polar Bear Pete Alonso. I can see him hitting 50 home runs again. He's so good with the power bat.
He is good.
And then obviously we have the Cy Young. I personally don't think Senga's going to be out long. So hopefully he comes back soon, and he's my Cy Young pick.
Okay. And for the Marlins, I'm going to take Luis Arias
Oh,
as the MVP. Spoiler alert for my Cy Young is going to be Edward Cabrera.
really?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Edward Cabrera. Great young guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Your pick for third place?
Yes. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Phillies in third place.
What?
Might be a shocker
Wow.
there.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Surprise. Blindsided. I'm gonna take the Phillies. I'm gonna have them finishing the year at 83 and 79.
Okay. I just got some breaking news about the Dylan Cease trade here. Looks like Padres' number 5 and number 8 prospects are headed to Chicago in exchange for Cease.
Okay. Do we know who they are?
Let me take a look and see. Do we have names? Maybe?
Maybe. Maybe not.
I'm not seeing it.
Who broke this news to you?
This is from Bleacher Report.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't see it. But that's okay.
That's okay.
At least we know.
We know now. Now we know.
So you said the Phillies.
I took the Phillies.
And so I obviously have here the Marlins.
Yes, Miami.
The Marlins of Miami, their over-under was 78.5. I'm going to have them at 85 wins, which is kind of crazy. I understand that, but that's where I've got it.
Okay. 85 wins for the Marlins in third place.
Mm-hmm.
For
Correct.
my Phillies MVP, I'm going to take Bryce Harper, of course.
How can you not?
And for my Cy Young, of course, I'm going to take Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, I love that pick. Love that. For the Miami Marlins, the Fish, I have the MVP as Jake Berger.
Okay.
Big boy with all the power. And then Cy Young, who else? 6'8", 220, Yuri Perez, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love that pick.
he is fantastic. I want him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, very good pick. I like that. That's respectable.
Thank you.
Very respectable.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us who's
now-
finishing in second?
Second place is probably obvious. Nope, the Phillies. It's the Phillies. I have them at, what was their over-under again? Yeah, 90.5. I have them at 93 wins.
Wow.
Better than last year. I know that they didn't really improve all that much, but they are going to have a full season of Bryce Harper. I think he started off a little shaky last year too. This is a good team, and I think 93 wins is definitely achievable.
Yeah. I disagree. I can see that.
I know.
But I can see it potentially.
Thank
maybe
you.
If everything goes right. And,
Mhm.
it is what it is. For me, second place, I'm taking the New York Mets, who you had as your fourth place team.
I did.
Remind me of the over-under for the Mets one more time.
New York Mets, 81.5.
Okay, yeah. I've got them at 88 and 74 next year, finishing
Okay.
in second place behind the Braves. Spoiler alert for both of us.
Spoilers.
Why don't you go ahead and give us MVP, Cy Young.
Since you took Harper, I want to try and make things a little bit more fun. I'm going to say Trey Turner then.
Okay.
Obviously, we said he had a down year, but let's bring him back. This guy can hit 300 easily. with 20 to 25 home run power. Woo. And then, again, you said Wheeler. I will change it up a little bit. I will say Nola, the other guy up there, a really good 1-2 punch. I know he didn't have the greatest season last year, but he's just Mr. Consistent, Mr. Throw 180 innings a year and forget about it.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
I've got Francisco Lindor
Mm-hmm.
as the MVP of this team. And keeping it a little interesting, Surpriser had a very good end of the season last year. I think he's going to carry that into this season. Change of scenery as well. And not that he needed it because he's been all over. I got Sean Manaea.
Ooh, interesting pick.
Yeah.
Not who I thought you were going with.
Spicing it up a little bit.
Okay.
I almost
The
went
big lefty.
with Luis Severino, but I'm going to go
That's
with
where I
Sean
thought you were
Manaea.
going.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sean Manaea here.
I like it.
Yeah.
And then what do you got for first place?
First place.
Surprise everyone.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with the Atlanta Braves, of course. 101 and 61. I think they kind of regressed from last year just a little bit. I don't know why I'm saying that because that's just stupid because this team is so good. But I got them at 101 wins.
Okay.
I think they're going to fall into a little bit of a slump somewhere in the year, and everybody's going to be like, oh, look, I told you the Braves are not good. The Phillies are better. Ugh. No, they're fine. 101 wins.
They are fine. I can see them pulling back a little bit just because there's no reason for them to even try at this point. They're going to win the division. So, like, they don't need to hurt themselves. But obviously people like Acuna are chasing records at this point, 40-70 season. Obviously, I have them first as well. I have them at 104 wins.
Okay, so same thing as last year then.
Correct.
Okay. My MVP on the team is probably different than yours. I'm going to go Matt Olson.
Ooh.
And for my Cy Young, I'm going to go with my guy, Spencer Strider.
Okay. Mine, obviously, the obvious pick here, Austin Riley.
Really? Okay. I did
At
not
third
see that
base?
coming. Blindsided me. I was expecting the obvious answer of Acuna.
The actual MVP.
Right.
No, Austin Riley is the best third baseman in baseball. Don't try and fight me on that one.
It's true.
The guy's fantastic. Fantastic. And then for Cy Young, somebody who should have won a Cy Young in his career by this point is Chris Sale.
Yeah.
I want to see a big bounce back.
I think we're going to see it this year. I think he's going to really thrive in Atlanta. He's got all those guys around him. He's got those dogs around him.
Exactly. Small ballpark, but let's hope he can keep the ball in the park.
I'm hopeful that he can.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Well, that's our breakdown of the National League East Division for this upcoming season. The Braves are looking to repeat, and they should easily coast to repeat as division winners. But the Phillies and Mets, they might have other ideas. So we'll see how it goes.
Let's see. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully we can see some fun like we did a couple years ago with these guys going just neck and neck. But the Braves are going to run away with it. But anyway, just don't forget to subscribe, follow Innings Insights for more in-depth analysis, interviews, latest updates, breaking news as we saw today, anything in the world of baseball. Goodbye for now.